Welcome everyone to Coaching in Session. My name is Michael Rearden, and I'll be your mindset coach today. And today we're going to be talking about how we can get rid of baggage in our life, how we can begin to master our life, and bringing on a life mastery coach, Donna Tashjian, and we're going to be talking with her about what she does. A little bit about her. She's the founder of Vibrant Living International, a nonprofit organization where she helps bring accelerate transformation to people across the world. Now, she has been doing this for over 25 years, and she has developed powerful programs to help people rise above the trauma, rise above the challenges that they have faced in their life. In our interview, we do a little client and coach experience where I'm the person who has a problem, and she's able to walk us through very quickly on how a session is. And of course, sessions are going to be longer, and they're going to be a little bit more in depth, and there's going to be a little bit more true. So taking that with an understanding of what we did, and then understanding that we can get to where we want to be, but it will take action and will take time. So let's get into that interview with Donna and myself. Welcome, Donna Tashjian, to Coaching in Session. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for coming on. And I wanted to talk to you. You are a life mastery coach. Can you explain to the audience what that is?
Well, to simplify it to its basis is I want to help you master life. Well, it could mean a lot of areas as adversity hits us, but one of my specialties is helping people to rise above the pain and disappointments that life can bring to be able to live the life they always loved. So I work with people a lot through major areas of pain and disappointment, perhaps even traumatic events in their life, and helping them to move through that and on and create a life they love from there.
Okay. So dealing with people who have some type of trauma in their life, that they had some type of hardship and they're maybe stuck or confused and they don't really know where to go, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right. And what do you think is some of the main reasons that causes people to feel stuck? Whether it could be relationships, it could be life, career, like what causes someone to feel stuck in any of those aspects?
There is, whenever I have experienced a sense in my clients of a feeling of being stuck, there is an element of hopelessness attached to those feelings of being stuck. Because if we have hope, we can feel like we can move forward. But that I have been called a messenger of hope because no matter what adversities we are facing, there is a potential of moving forward. My signature program that I have developed is called Turn Your Baggage into Luggage, so you can create the life you dreamed. So learning to be able to transform the things that have happened in our lives to actually something that can help propel us to our future.
Okay. So helping people find a reason to move forward past that trauma or past that hardship that they had. I wanted to do something with you to kind of make it so people have an experience of what is working like with a life mastery coach. So I wanted to give you a scenario, right? So I'm going to be your client.
Sounds good.
And I'm going to have a problem with me not feeling confident in myself. I just am not happy with who I am. I don't have a good diet. I just want to sleep all day. I just want to not care about tomorrow. I just waste my day away. I'm just wasting away in my life. And I'm reaching out to you because I want to change that. There's something inside of me telling me that I can change this. And I'm hoping you can help me with that. What's the first step that we are going to have together on this journey?
Well, first, I would have you go more into detail than you have about what your life is like. And one question that I have is, when did you first notice this begin to shift?
I would say when I was in high school. And for me, it was always trying to maintain my ego. And I was always trying to be someone I wasn't really meant to be. And I found that left me empty. And after high school, I was just lost and I didn't really have a good foundation to move forward. And now I'm just trying to figure out my life and I don't know where to begin.
So if you were to go back and picture yourself in high school and you were trying to fit into somebody else's image, What kind of idea of what you wanted to be came to mind?
I always thought about having people accept me. I just wanted everyone to like me. I just wanted people to, know my name and to, be friendly with everyone around me. I didn't really have much aspirations for career. I just kind of fit where you know, where I went. So I would find a job and I would stay there for some time, but the job was never really meaningful to me. I was just always trying to be a people pleaser, I think.
Yes, I understand that feeling. When you, just switching subjects for a second, what kind of music do you like?
I like to listen to hip hop.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you've noticed there is lots of different kinds of music.
Mm-hmm.
Like you probably don't ever listen to country, right?
No.
Or perhaps classical.
Not really, no.
No. And so there are lots of different kinds of music. Does that mean any one of those musics are wrong or bad?
No.
No. So, what determines a person whether they accept or like that genre of music is their personal opinion.
So the opinion of other people have for music?
Yeah, it's like if I liked country and you didn't, which you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, my opinion, I could easily say, "What's the matter with you? You don't like
Mm.
country music?" And I put you down because you don't like what I like. The same thing happens in high school, in life in general. We have taken our acceptance because it's somebody else's opinion of what things should be like. Think about how many different styles of clothing, how many different cars, how many different kinds of art. There are so many opinions in the world. And when we can begin to realize that somebody may be being rejection or criticism is really their opinion of our worth, it does not mean it's actually my worth.
Mm. But how do I get over that in my mind where it's like I keep seeking adoration from other people, even though I know I should be looking at myself as that person?
Well, one of the biggest things is that we continue to look at others for our value. And
Mm.
if you can pause and think about what I shared, actually what my value is not someone else's opinion. It's who I am. It's often been said that the world's view of us, what we perceive as acceptance or non-acceptance from people, is actually a mirror of how we feel about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of looking at other people, I would encourage you to do things as begin to read different books.
Mm.
You can choose to fill your mind with positive things instead of focusing on the rejection that you may have had. Sounds like you did have in high school, that you didn't measure up to someone else's standard of what you should be.
Mm-hmm.
Is begin to read some books. There are tons of podcasts. There is all kinds of avenues, and begin to use affirmations, declarations. And as you do these activities, you will begin to get a vision of what the life is you would actually like to create.
Mm.
Whatever you focus on is amplified. If you continue to focus on the past, you will reproduce the past. You didn't really like it much. Let's not do that. Let's begin to focus on the future, on what that could look like by creating a new vision by what you intake through your eyes, your ears, and focus on where you might go. This is, of course, only one session. I'll be there to guide you along the way, but I gave you some books and podcasts to listen to. Are you willing to do that?
Yes.
Then we'll start with that. And you can take some notes on what you're getting out of it, and we'll talk about it next time we're together.
All right. Perfect. Scene. Wonderful stuff. And I love what you said. If we focus on the past, we're going to keep reliving that past. And I read on your website, it's talking about the idea of baggage, right? We
Mm-hmm.
have like baggage or luggage that can be negative and weighing us down. That baggage is not necessarily helpful, right?
Not most of the time.
Mm-hmm. So how can someone begin to unpack that baggage? And we do have to understand too that everyone has some type of baggage when you're going into a relationship, when you're changing careers, when you're trying something new in life, you have some type of anchor holding you back, right? How can someone unpack that baggage?
Well, the first step is acknowledging that I have it. So
Mm,
many of the times we are masters at saying I'm okay when we're not okay. And we have all kinds of, I call them I'm okay band-aids that we do to help us to pretend,
mhm,
help us to stuff that. So the first step is I'm not feeling okay about this
mm,
and I want it to change. So I call baggage thinking the kind of thinking that says, what happened to me wasn't fair. It wasn't right. I don't like my life. This shouldn't happen. I deserve different. And I'm angry and hurt and mad, and somebody needs to pay, perhaps even, depending upon what that is. That's baggage thinking.
mm,
And we can stay there and, camp out, if you will, in those kind of thoughts. My comparison to luggage thinking in my analogy is luggage thinking is what happened to me wasn't okay.
mm,
I shouldn't have been, if we were to use the last individual we used as a case study, people shouldn't have been so bullying and mean to you in high school. You're right. It's absolutely wrong. You shouldn't have been fired from that job. And then I deal with women and men that have got actual abuse. It's wrong. This shouldn't have happened, but it's part of you.
mhm,
So, how can you use it to grow and become better?
mm,
I have my own story. Most people say that if you're a coach, especially in the field that I am in, you must have had your own trauma. And I did. And I could have for a long time wanted to make someone pay, but to use it to grow and become, I call it looking for the gift in the pain, looking for the gift in the circumstance, because we can find a gift. I call them gifts wrapped in sandpaper. They're not pretty.
mhm,
They rub us the wrong way. There's nothing that goes, oh, yay, I want this gift. There's nothing like that. But we can look for the gift because of what I have been through. I am more empathetic and understanding, compassion for people in similar situations.
mhm,
And so that's just one gift. There's been others that we can find. What reminds me of, you may have heard this story, but I tell it about two kids that were put in two rooms full of manure. And one little kid just sits down and cries. My life is full of, you can
mhm,
get the word,
yeah,
and is just miserable. It stinks. It's always going to stink. And it's just my life. And the other little kid knocked on the door and said, can I have a shovel? I go, why do you want a shovel? And I said, it could have been a boy. It doesn't matter. Because if there's this much poop, there's got to be a pony in here somewhere.
mhm,
And that to me is, with this much, there's a gift. With whatever you've gone through, there is a gift. And that is the first step that I work with clients for, is being able to repackage, get a new perspective, a new mindset on what has happened to them in a way that they can begin to move forward.
mhm. And you said so many great things there. The first thing I want to touch with is that we say we're okay. And though we might say we're okay, we might just be lying to ourselves. We might be hurting on the inside and we don't want to show the world. And that's going to be a dangerous place, because if we say we're okay, then our subconscious mind is going to say, well, I guess we're okay. Right. And we're not necessarily focused on, well, what needs to be fixed? And then we have to look at the outlook of our situation. Yeah, we all have trauma. Everyone is going to be dealing with some type of trouble, challenge in their life. Sometimes it's going to be worse than others, but you have to understand their upbringing. A child who grew up in a silver spoon type of household, their first trauma might be that dad didn't let me go to the baseball game with my friends. That could be a trauma for them because all their life they've been given everything. and they'd never had any type of adversity. And now they have a moment where I can't do what I want. I'm upset about this. This is a trauma for me. It might seem inconsequential to someone who doesn't have a home, is homeless, has parents who are abusive, who are eating out of trash cans because they don't have food to eat. The two are drastically different, but how that person interprets their challenge, that trauma is theirs. And we have to understand that because everyone's going to be in a different place. And then we just go to the next step. I'm okay, or I don't like my dad because he didn't let me go to the baseball game with my friends. Now we have a negative relationship with the parent. Then we have a child who grew up with no home, abusive parents, eating out of trash cans. They might say, my life was so hard. And it's because of this person, maybe making themselves to be out to be a victim. Though we might say a blanket statement, I'll be okay. Things will turn out in my favor. How true is that really? Right? I mean, we could be optimistic, but what would be a better alternative than just saying, I'm going to be okay? What type of actions can we do to make sure that we get to a better tomorrow, a place where we can start to begin and master our life rather than allow our life to just be contingent on what the world does to us?
Well, a good start is to say that tomorrow is going to be better. But we can live in a fairy tale land and never actually do anything about it. So the simplest statement is take action. What action, what I could be calling it a baby step. What is one thing I could do today to move me forward to the person that I want to be? Not necessarily what I want to do even as a job, because when we're feeling lost and we don't know what we want to do, it's like, who do I want to be? If I were to imagine myself at the end of my life, what do I want people to say about me? What is the kind of person that I want to become? And begin to take action in that direction, which is why in the scenario you gave me earlier is, will you read a book? If I give you a book, will you read a book? That's an action. What action will we begin to take so that we're not just going, oh, it's going to be fine, or not, and begin to take action is key.
And when people think about taking action, right, they say, I want to do this change, I'm going to make this change, and they begin to change. So I love to give the example of New Year's resolutions. So people have a New Year's resolutions. They say January 1st, I'm going to do something. Whether it's I'm going to learn a language, I'm going to get in shape, I'm going to go seek therapy, I'm going to fix my relationships, whatever it be, right? They give themselves a goal, right? And it doesn't matter about the date that they're on, but they're giving themselves a contingency. January 1st is when I'm going to begin. Now, could be a good thing and a bad thing, but let's talk about just the goal per se. So they give themselves a goal. Then they start strong. Come February, they miss a few days maybe. They're not as mindful. March comes, they miss half the days. Come May, they're not even being consistent with what they did. So they started off with good action, doing what they said they're going to do. But then they wane in the coming months. And then May, they finally fall off. And then they kind of just allow life to take them away until maybe September. And then they give themselves a new resolution come that time for the next year. People always say, I'm going to make this year my best year, which is a good thing, right? We want the years to be better. But then they always end up cursing the year that they're in. So they say, oh, this year, I can't wait for it to be over. Some people do that, not everyone. And I know for the pandemic, the quarantine, many people were like, can't 2020 be over already? Right? Rather than saying, how can I make 2020 a better year? Right? What can I do to propel my 2020? I understand there's a lot of going on in the world, and I'm not trying to belittle that. But what can I do? What actions can I do? Right? What is the reason why people start to take action but give up?
Well, that isn't an easy, just a pat answer, because each individual choices, a reason why they declined is there's a reason behind it. I always encourage people who said they were going to exercise so many times a week, and they, like you said, do it great for a while, then fall off and then start back up again. is they exercised more this year than they did last year.
Mm.
That there's still improvement, that there's still growth, and not to step into judgment because I didn't exercise 5 days a week, but I did 3 most of the week. So that is better, and begin to look at the growth as opposed to the perfection that the goal. So it's always great to have a big goal, but to celebrate every single win along the way. We tend to fall off because we start beating ourselves up. Well, you didn't, or if you were going to eat right, I ate lousy yesterday, so why bother? And instead of celebrating that all the weeks before, I was really eating healthy. And I had one day that I let myself, have lots of cake or whatever it is. But so celebrating the wins is the important thing that I would like to highlight in those scenarios is that celebrate every step you take. When we stay in thankfulness and celebrating what we're doing, we're more likely to continue that behavior than when I beat myself up that I didn't do it, whatever perfection that I had set for myself. So it's better to learn and grow and do every day, celebrate what went well, be thankful for things that went well instead of focusing on what didn't go well.
Yeah, being thankful, being gracious are going to be some of the key components that help people take action. And just because you mess up one day doesn't mean your journey is done.
Right.
The year is over. I use the idea of small victories, right? Even if we work out one day out of the week and we're supposed to work out 5, the small victories that one, right? We look at that, we pay attention to that, because if we can focus on the good and not so much about what we didn't do, that one day can turn to 2 days and then it can multiply.
Yes.
We have to look at the small steps sometimes so we can get to the big steps. People who try to get to that goal, the end result, they're just trying to rush to someplace thinking that happiness is there.
Yes.
And I understand the idea of having a goal and thinking it makes them happy. I mean, I've been there. I could have said, once I do this, once I'm done with college, I'm going to be happy. And I don't have to worry about taking tests anymore. And I don't have to worry about all this stress. And then college is done. What do? I have a new stress. I have a new obstacle in front of me. And many people just look at a goal, look at something, and they say, okay, when I get there, I'm going to be happy. But why not right now? Why can't we be happy today? And we have to look at those moments of gratitude, of being thankful for what we have. And it's not so much to look around at our peers and say, well, they have this and I don't. Okay, well, that's fine. Would you like it? Because if you do, if you want that, what steps do we need to take to get that? Many people see what someone has, and then they just see the disparity between the two. They're so far ahead. They're so successful. They're so beautiful. I can never have that in my life. And then they have all that self-doubt just weigh them down, and they don't want to push. They don't want to be more because they feel like they can't get there. People sometimes get into their mind that success is limited, that I can only have a certain amount of success. I was born in this family. This is my situation. This is my scenario. I can't get to this place in my life. So they don't even try. How can we, as coaches, encourage people to try, even though they've fallen down time and time again? How can we be that encouragement to say, let's keep going, don't stop, let's push? Maybe something you do, maybe something you have experienced, and there's a way that you learned from your own experiences or working with people. How can they rise when they have fallen?
Well, we've given some keys, and you've shared quite a few as you've talked just now. The way that I summarize a statement is whatever you focus on is magnified. Whatever you focus on is multiplied. If I'm focusing on that I fell down, or am I focusing on that I got up? And so what am I focusing on that I tried? I mean, if we quit trying because we fell down, we would have never learned to walk. And so we would have never ridden a bike because every one of us skinned our knees or other parts of our bodies when we learned to ride a bike for the first time. So understanding that life is an absence of skinned knees. Mm-hmm. Life is enjoying the learning process and focusing on enjoying the journey, not the destination per se, and keeping an attitude of thankfulness and gratitude along the way. So the two keys that I can say, I shared one already, is the thankfulness and gratitude. But what are we focusing on? Are we focusing on that I didn't exercise for 6 days this week, or I exercised for 1? Because whatever you focus on will be repeated, will be multiplied, will grow in your life and in your mind, in the way you're thinking. So I often ask, what have you been focusing on?
Mm-hmm. It's like the idea of the glass half full or the glass half empty. Like, where is your state of mind? You can change that. I want people to understand that you can change how you see the glass. Maybe initially you see the glass as half empty, and then you can see it as half full, but it requires work to do that. One of the tools that I use with my clients is journaling. We have 2 journals. We have a negative journal and a positive journal. The negative journal, we never read. We write down all the problems we have, all the worries we have, and it's a closed book. We never reread that. And then we have a positive journal. We write down all the good things that happened. We look at the positive. So if we went to the gym one day, that's going to be in the positive journal. If we didn't go to the gym 5 other days, that's in the negative journal. We don't worry about that. So I have them reread the positive journal before the session, and then they can say, okay, this is where I am, right? We're not worried about what is negative, what didn't happen. We're worried about the positive. So the outlook. Do you, in your profession, do you have anything similar to that where you can help them look at the positive and then maintain their eyesight on that positive?
Yes, I encourage them to do similar in journaling. But one tool that I suggest that they utilize is to create 2 columns on a sheet of paper. And on the left-hand side, write down all their fears. What are the things they're afraid of? I'm afraid I'll fail. I'm afraid I'll look stupid. I'm afraid whatever. And then create positive affirmations to counteract all of the fears, so that we're not ignoring the fears, but we are addressing them with what we want instead. So that's one of the other tools that I utilize, and it's something I use for my own life. Every situation, every growth, every time you grow and change, there's new fears associated with the growth. I'm afraid I'll fall down when I take my training wheels off. It's every single time. And so it doesn't matter our success level. It does. I mean, people in sports that are legends still deal with fear, and people that are, music stars and all of the actors and all of that deal with some form of fear, no matter what success level. So fear doesn't go away, but it's learning how to address it with what we want instead, and staying on the positive side, not on I'm going to fall down again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wonderfully said. And there's so much more to life mastery than just our conversation today.
Yes.
We have to understand that the journey of life is always going to be changing. It's always going to be evolving. And where we are today doesn't necessarily mean where we're going to be tomorrow. So we can plan, but we always have to be ready for any adjustments that have to be made. And working with someone like you or myself, having that person there by your side to guide you, to help you, to make sure that you can do so safely and with love and care, also as a factor in that development or that process, is going to be so beneficial. So Donna, if you can, please just give me a few final words. Also, how people can find you.
Well, the easiest way to find me is my website, and that is the letter I, vibrantliving.com. The organization that I founded is called Vibrant Living, and my passion is to help you rise above the pain and disappointment of life and help you actually create the life you love, far beyond anything you've imagined, with confidence and ease. That's what I do. It's my passion, and being able to do that as well. My closing thoughts is, remember to be thankful. look for, what can I be thankful today? I often create gratitude journals because there is something very powerful no matter where you find yourself in. The other thing that has transformed my life is we often try to listen to a podcast or read a book and alone and do type of, I can figure this out on my own kind of a thing. But I'm sure you would agree with me as well. There is nothing like having a coach that has helped me exponentially, where I might have been able to figure it out eventually by listening to a podcast or reading a book, but getting a coach to be able to give you that support and be that cheerleader and accountability is invaluable. So that would be my closing statements.
And I want to say that I'm thankful for you coming on. I'm grateful for the work you do, because what I want to do is I want to create a ripple. I want to change the world by affecting 2 billion lives. And I know I can't do that by myself. And that's why I have other wonderful coaches like yourself, Donna, come on and show the world what you do, explain how you can help them. And then, of course, being there for when they finally say, I want to make the change. I'm willing to invest in myself. And then they find someone who's going to be that person by their side on that journey. Because if you go by yourself, you're going to have a lot of pitfalls. You're going to have a lot of trial and error, but you can mitigate most of that when you have someone right there saying, hey, I can see your blind spots. Let's not go that way maybe today, because if we do that, this could be a possibility. And then, of course, you're the owner of yourself. So you're going to choose to do something or not do something. And similar to how if you tell like a child, don't touch a stove, sometimes some people need that. But I encourage people to take some wisdom first. Take the wisdom, take the knowledge from other people who have worked with countless peoples in helping them get to a better life, getting rid of baggage, getting rid of trauma. All of that's going to be helpful and beneficial. And Donna is an expert, many years of experience. Check out her website, and she's going to be an asset in your corner. All right, everyone, Donna Tashjian. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching my interview with Donna Tashjian and myself. If you have any questions, of course, email me, coaching in session. All her links will be in the description box below, so you can contact Donna also. And final notes, understand that the progress that we make every single day is going to be paramount. Now, just because you don't show up one day doesn't necessarily matter. We have to understand that showing up is going to be a compound effect. How often can we show up? In the beginning, we might show up 1 out of 7 days. And then next week, we might show up 2 out of 7 days. And then it might go back, it might fluctuate. But if we can keep a progression, a scale, a graph that's going up in an upward trend, that's going to be positive in some aspect of our mind. So we can start to look at that and we can start to aim for that. So of course, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this video, and to help build a strong community of people coming together, trying to help people understand how can I get to a better and stronger mindset. My name is Michael Rearden. I'm a mindset coach. If you have any questions, of course, email me or just always stay tuned for the next episode of Coaching in Session. Until then, everyone, take care.